At some point in adulthood, blaming your parents stops being an explanation and quietly becomes a life sentence. Not because they didn't mess up, many of them did, but because nothing in your current reality changes while you're still waiting for your childhood to be rewritten. It's an uncomfortable truth not many like to admit, but you can be 100% right about why you're broken and still be 100% responsible for putting the pieces back together. We live in the era of highly self-aware individual. Most of us can explain our problems with the precision of a clinical psychologist. I'm emotionally unavailable because my mom was hyper-controlling. I have no boundaries because I had to earn love through performance. Or I'm a procrastinator because my dad pushed me too hard, or maybe because he didn't push me at all. And all those explanations are likely true, they are valid, but years pass, your understanding gets deeper, the self-awareness improves, and yet life stays roughly the same. Same reactions, same relationship patterns, same stuck points. At some point, the explanation becomes useless. We've diagnosed the engine failure, but we are still sitting in the car waiting for the person who sold us the car to come and fix it. To see how to change this, we can look at someone who had every right by modern standards to be a psychological wreck, Eleanor Roosevelt. Long before she was a global icon for human rights, Eleanor was a disappointment. Her mother, a famous social beauty, nicknamed her daughter Granny to her face, because she found Eleanor too plain, too simple. Her father, whom she adored, was an alcoholic, who was eventually exiled from the family and died when she was only 10. By 15, both her parents and one of her brothers were dead. She was raised by a grandmother who was rigid and cold. Eleanor grew up with the perfect explanation for a life of bitterness and resentment. She was a classic unloved child, and for a while she lived like it, small, shy, uncertain, convinced she wasn't worth much. But somewhere in her 30s, the narrative shifted. She stopped waiting for her mother's ghost to apologize or for her father to get sober in her memories. She stopped asking why her childhood had been so painful and started asking a different question. What do I do with who I've become? She once famously said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." That wasn't just a catchy quote. She realized that her upbringing explained her shyness, but it didn't have to be the excuse for her silence. She didn't rewrite her past, she changed her relationship to it. And she became one of the most influential figures of the 20th century, not in spite of her childhood, but because she refused to let it keep defining her. There is a distinction to be made. Your parents are an explanation, not an excuse. Understanding how you were raised explains why certain things are hard, but it doesn't decide who carries the weight of fixing them. Becoming an adult starts right there, when you realize that understanding where a problem came from doesn't automatically dissolve it. Insight is just the beginning, it's not the solution. The solution is what you do after you understand. And this is where people get uncomfortable, because it feels unfair. Like, wait, so they messed me up and I have to fix it? Yes, you didn't break yourself, but you are the only one who can fix yourself. It might feel unfair, but it's the only way out. It's okay to be angry, it's okay to acknowledge that you're dealt a bad hand, but at some point you have to play the hand. Carrying the blame is like carrying a heavy suitcase that belonged to someone else. You're exhausted, you're frustrated, and you are standing still because you're waiting for the owner to come and take it back. But they aren't coming, and meanwhile you're missing the flight. So what does it actually look like to break free? 4 steps. First, notice when you cannot do something because of your childhood conditioning. Be specific, not "my parents messed me up, but I feel worthless when someone is disappointed in me." Second, you can keep the explanation, but you have to drop the excuse. Acknowledge the truth without continuing to live in it. Yes, it happened, yes, it shaped you, and yes, you are the only one who is responsible for it now. Ask the adult question, what's my next step? Not who caused this, not why did this happen to me, but what's the smallest action that would move this 1% forward? A boundary, a difficult conversation, a new response the next time you're angry. One small rep. Fourth, stop seeking feeling good and start seeking competence. We wait to feel healed before we act, but it rarely happens. That feeling that you're trying to avoid will ease only when you work through it. It will feel shitty, but you have to act your way into something better. Stop analyzing the feeling and go build a skill, because competence is the best antidote to a childhood that made you feel small. So simply understanding where your issues came from won't solve them. New ways of acting will. Your childhood might explain your pain, but you are the one who decides if it becomes just a scar or an open injury you keep showing people. At some point, it stops being who hurt you and it becomes who are you going to be now.